hoping that'd be January, but because it'd be a nice way to start a year. The album is coming out on the day of Valentine's. No, on the day of Valentine's, but the week of Valentine's, on the 12th of February is the idea to get it out here in Germany, and so it'd be just nice to get rid of this year and start fresh with the new year and new song and new album and new video and all that. But we'll see. There's so many variables we don't have any control of. And I'm still working on the cover artwork. So we have the artist who did Dark Light and who did Venus Doom. We have him. He's on his Photoshop at the moment, and he keeps on sending me files, and I keep on sending him shitty comments and files back. But we're probably going to be working on some of the old stuff, yeah. Usually what we've been doing is that if we have a new album coming out, we try to figure out if there's some changes we want to make to the old songs that would take the old songs closer to the sound of the new album. It's like Bleed Well, for example. Could be a song that would be on this album. The only difference would be they'd be a bit faster, I'd sing a bit higher, and then the chorus would go into a crash. You know, little things like that, they're not necessarily, if you're not a musician, they're not necessarily things you notice if you see us play live, but it makes, hopefully, the set a bit more cohesive. It makes sense, and there's like a, thin red line in there. So that kind of stuff we're working on at the moment. The guys are rehearsing back in Helsinki. I'm having the first rehearsals with them this Friday, and I want to bring back a couple of old songs like And Love Said No, which is one of my favorite tracks that was on a compilation, but we never really played it live. I want to work on that, and maybe figure out a new cover. I've got a couple of ideas of a new cover song, so I think it's the whole world. We're still not thinking about markets, but obviously we want to be successful. And it'd be great if there would be 10 million people who buy the album. It's very unlikely, but you never know. And so we're working as hard as possible to make sure that the album is good, and to make sure that we are available as a band, and to make sure that we tour, so we let people know that we are around and we're coming to your town, and stuff like that. So everything's important, and I think that in our band it's always been about surprises. We never knew that Love Metal was going to do so well in the UK. We never knew that Razorblade Romance will do so well in Germany and Switzerland and Austria, and then we never knew that our first album would do so well in Finland. So it's always been really surprising. So maybe this album would do great in China or something. You never know. And the world is such a massive place that we're happy to basically be able to play everywhere. We have most of next year booked already. That's how it works with bands. You have to book stuff really early. So what we're going to do now is, I know my rest of this year. So we're going to go back home. We're going to rehearse with the band for the New Year's Eve gigs. We're playing Helden Festival once again, which is this time around is the last 4 days of this year. We're going to play in Helsinki, and we need to shoot a video before that. I need to do all the B-sides before that. We need to finish up the cover artwork before that. Then there's Christmas, and which needs to be spent with parents. And then in February, when the album comes out, we're hoping to play a couple of gigs as record release parties in Europe before we head over to Australia, playing the Sonic Wave Festival. That is like a series of festivals there's Faith No More and Jane's Addiction. There's really cool bands on the bill. So we're going there for about like a week and a half. Then we're flying back to Europe. We're doing a tour in England, after which we fly over to America. We do North American tour, including Canada. Then we fly back and hopefully do as many European festivals as possible. And then in August, September, we start our European tour. That is hopefully going to be done around Halloween. So again, it would be from Valentine's till Halloween. And after that, we want to keep some time open in our calendar, so to speak, that if the album should do really well, let's say in China, we would have the time to go over to China and tour more, or tour there for the first time. Or if the album does really well in Germany, we have the opportunity of coming back. Or if it does really well in the UK, doing the same thing. So we're basically booked until Christmas next year. You know, cell phones nowadays, they always have the voice memo thing. I'll be using that, and then I have dictaphones, and then I love, there's an application for, that at least works on Macs, is called Tape Deck. Which is just you click it, and it opens up like a simple old school 80s tape recorder. And it's really good for it, just like, there's all the buttons, and the rewind does the, you can hear the voice like in the 80s. So it just reminds me of my youth, and that's what I've been using. And also, I don't like to put too many ideas down, because I think that if the idea is good enough, you should remember it. I think, usually. You know, but at times you have a vibe that, oh, this idea is so brilliant, I have to get it down. And then when you do, it's usually shit. But if it's something that keeps on following you, or you remember it, lyrically I put things down. I have a long list of like, just phrases and song titles and stuff like that, and at times it helps when you're writing lyrics. If you're missing something, and you can just read through stuff you've had, and it doesn't necessarily mean that you take a piece. You just see different words, and it just opens up the writer's block.